Alright guys, in today's video, I'm going to do a very quick comparison between the Honor Magic V3 against the Galaxy Z Fold 6. Now, I did mention in my previous video that the Magic V3 is one of the slimmest, the lightest device, and is the closest any foldable has been to a normal smartphone to date. But in today's video, we're going to check out how do they stack up between foldable versus foldable. Now, before I begin, I must highlight that both are actually great foldables, and at the end of the day, it's really going to be down to your own personal preference. So let's take a look at these devices. Now, let's start off first and foremost with the design, because that's definitely going to be the first thing that you're going to be looking at when you get either one of these devices. Let's start with the Honor. Okay. Looking at this phone, first up, we do have this circular kind of cutout for the camera at the back. If you do get this orange version, you have the option of getting this vegan leather material at the back, which actually makes holding the phone a bit more grippier. So overall, it feels very premium in hand. But if you move on to the Galaxy Z Fold 6, the design here is again very similar to its predecessor. It has this very minimalist, boxy kind of look, which honestly speaking, I do kind of like. I like things a bit more minimal, but just in terms of design, that is really down to your personal preference. Which one do you prefer? Alright, let's move on to the next point here and talk about the user experience. So how does it feel like to use these phones? Now, I've been using these for quite some time now, so there's quite a bit of feedback here. Now let's start with holding the phone. So this is where the Honor Magic V3 has its strongest points. And like I mentioned in my previous video, it feels just like using a normal phone. Now the reason for that is very straightforward. It's lighter than the Z Fold 6. You do tend to feel the weight difference when you hold both together. It's also thinner than the Z Fold 6. And if you put on a normal device side by side with the Magic V3, you'll notice that the Magic V3 is actually very similar in form factor to a standard candy bar phone. Now that's saying a lot because you're going to be holding your phone for a very long time throughout the entire day, put it in your pocket, wherever, and you want to enjoy that lighter form factor. So that's where I think the Honor Magic V3 really ages in terms of that. Now when we talk a bit about protection, this device here has IPX8. That means you can submerge it into water, no issues there. However, it's not dust protected like the one on the Z Fold 6, which protects you from both dust as well as water. Now moving on, let's talk a bit about the display. Now the display is also very different here. So when you look at the display of the Magic V3, it's very straightforward. It feels just like a display of a standard phone. And when you look at the one on the Z Fold 6 now, using such a narrow display does has a bit of its challenges. For instance, if you're using the keyboard to reply to a message, you notice that the keyboard is very compact and it doesn't allow you to reply to the message very comfortably. That's just my personal experience. Now when we flip the device open, this is again a very different story because you'll notice that the Magic V3 comes with a larger display and the crease down the center is also a little bit less obvious on the Honor device. Now when it comes to protection, both devices do has its own protection of the display. So the Z Fold 6 comes with that Gorilla Glass Victus 2. However, the Magic V3 goes one step further and even provides drop resistance. So the protection of the display also moves on to the inside of the Magic V3, where Honor has also put in some scratch resistance onto the display on the inside. With that said, it's also worth noting that Honor is giving I think a 365-day, screen crack protection warranty, where if you do happen to crack your display, you can get it at a replacement for free or for half the price off or something like that. But yeah, Honor is confident of the durability of the displays, and that's definitely a good thing there. Alright, let's move on and talk about the cameras. Alright, so for the cameras, they both have triple camera setups. They come with the main sensor, telephoto, ultra-wide, standard stuff there. However, when it comes to just outright resolution and megapixel count, it is a bit higher on the Magic V3. When it comes to the optical zoom, it's also higher on the Magic V3. Now this effectively translates to the pictures that it takes. So for instance, the Magic V3 will produce photos that are a bit more detailed, it retains a bit more of its highlights, it's a bit brighter, and the color also pops a little bit more, which depending on your personal preference might be a good or a bad thing. However, when it comes to night photos, again, the pictures are a bit more sharper and detailed. There's even brighter images coming off the Magic V3 compared to the Z Fold 6. So at the end of the day, I'd say that the pictures coming off the Honor Magic V3 just seems to be a bit more appealing and a bit more pleasing to my eyes, but you guys be the judge of yourselves. and let me know which one you do prefer, the Samsung device or the Honor device. Now moving on to the next point here, let's talk a bit about the performance. Now both devices are running the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. Obviously the Z Fold 6 has its own custom 4 Galaxy chipset. However, the performance is more or less the same. There's not much of a difference here. What's really different is in terms of the operating system. Now the Magic V3 runs its own Magic OS, whereas Samsung runs its One UI. But the cool thing here is that both phones are filled with AI features. So Galaxy AI on the Samsung device is actually a very fun one. It comes with a lot of cool features, and Samsung was actually the one who started the pushing the way forward for AI on smartphones, I would say. So you've got a lot of fun stuff here. You can draw stuff, you can remove stuff. There's a lot of things to do here. There's even AI translation, which is great. Now when we move on to Magic OS, Honor is also keeping up with Samsung in terms of AI, where they have their own Magic Portal. You can actually either tap to drag or even circle your display to do a ton of stuff like search, navigate, send directly to your friends, and even more. They also have their AI translation that's carried out in collaboration with Google Cloud, and this supports up to 10 different languages. Most importantly, it supports the local Bahasa Malaysia. Nice! Furthermore, there's also features like the AI Falcon Capture, AI Eraser to remove that unwanted item, and a lot of other AI features on the Honor Magic V3. Now last but not least, let's check out the batteries as well as the charging speeds. Now for this particular case, we already know that Samsung doesn't really give us like the fastest charging, and in terms of the battery, it's still like 4400 mAh, which is not the largest one out there. When it comes to the Honor Magic V3, however, this is a very different story because Honor has been using their carbon silicon tech for their batteries. That means that they can fit in more capacity in a slimmer and thinner form factor, which is what is happening here. So you have the larger battery. The charging is also faster, both wired and wireless. So it's really not a competition here because battery and charging speed wise, the win goes to the Honor Magic V3. Alright, so at the end of the day, which device should you choose? Well, I would say that the choice is definitely in your hands, and everyone's preference is different. Now, if you go with the Galaxy Z Fold 6, what you'll be getting here is a very solid device. This is still one of the best foldables that Samsung makes. They also come with that 7-year OS as well as security updates, which is again a huge amount to some people out there. However, if you go with the Honor Magic V3, this is where you're actually going to get a better user experience because of just how lightweight and how thin the device is. Not only that, you'll be getting a better display in terms of the aspect ratio, better eye protection. In terms of the cameras, you're also getting a bit higher in terms of the resolution. You're also getting a further telephoto lens, and in terms of the battery and the charging, it's also going to be larger as well as faster. Finally, you also get to enjoy the entire suite of Honor's own AI features. Now, it doesn't come with that 7-year OS and security updates. It only comes with 4 years, which is actually, to be honest, quite a good deal as well. Because if you think about it, in 7 years to come, will this processor or will the hardware still be able to keep up with all those updates? You guys answer me for that. Oh, by the way, the price is also cheaper on the Honor Magic V3 compared to the Z Fold 6. Just thought I should mention that as well. Anyway, with that said, this video has been very long already. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. Don't forget to drop a like and sub to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Do take care and stay safe. Bye bye.